Are you ready to be empowered with hope, faith, and confidence to believe in yourself, to overcome your fears and battle through every challenge and bully you face, both real and in your mind? Are you ready to learn life-changing strategies on how to develop the right mindset and positive mental attitude to courageously stand out in the crowd and be who you were born to be? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to the Building Warrior Confidence Podcast. Greetings and welcome to another uplifting, life-changing episode of the Warrior Confidence Podcast. I'm your host, Master Rich Grogan, and I'm truly grateful you're here today. And if you're new to the show, it's your first time, then welcome to the show. And if you're back for more, then welcome back to another round of Warrior Confidence Power. Well, how you doing today? Well, hopefully you're having a great day, and this episode makes it even better. But maybe if you're not having the best of days, and I'm hopeful this episode is exactly what you need to turn your day around. So what are we talking about today? Well, quick little tease. Think about this. In the military, there is no greater sacrifice than risking your life to help another, or actually giving up your life to help another. But think about the thing of risking your life to help someone else. There's a term, no man left behind. Well, hopefully that you've never had to experience this in, a combative setting. And if you're in the military and you have, my heart goes out to you, my heart and soul, and I praise you for what you have done, just serving in the military. As you may or may not know, my dad was 101st Airborne in Vietnam, 1968 and 69, and he fired the howitzers. He actually provided mortar support for Hamburger Hill, and unfortunately, his hill was attacked after the VC left Hamburger Hill and pretty much slaughtered everybody on his hill. He was left for dead, but then air vac'd out later. And he still to this day has nightmares. But it was told that he actually helped pull one guy out, and the guy ended up passing away later. But so that really means a lot to me as far as anybody that served in the military, knowing what my dad went through, and anybody who went to Vietnam or the Iraqi war, any war, my gosh, and anybody that's currently serving the military, my heart goes out to you. Now, I never served personally. It was something I wanted to do, but my mom pleaded with me, please respect your dad's wishes, and he don't go. It ruined his whole life, and just grow up, take care of the place, because Dad was always gone, and as an over-the-road truck driver, so I grew up on the farm, taking care of the farm and everything else. So it's something I did miss. I wish I would have been a part of, not the combative scenario. I'm not going to act like tough and wanted to be a part of that. But I did get a chance to go over to Korea 4 different times and with martial arts. So not that that's close, but I did learn a lot of the militaristic values from my father and from spending time in Korea with the martial arts. But anyway, little side note there. My heart goes out to anyone that's ever served or is currently serving in the military. Thank you so very, very much. I'm hopeful if you're listening, I do you justice by talking about this, the No Man Left Behind, on how we can empower one another here as civilians to make, my goal, make society a happier, healthier, and safer place to live. So my next question there is, as a civilian, have you gone the extra mile to help someone in need? Now, I'm sure at some point in time we all have, but I want you to kind of think about that. Maybe you've got a friend that's struggling right now, or maybe you've got someone in your life that, needs you at your very, very best, which is kind of the conclusion I'm coming to with all this. And the next question is, when that person needed that help, were you able to provide it? Were you in the right mindset and had the physical and mental health capacity to help them? And then kind of the follow-up question to that, are you in the right mindset and have the physical and mental health capacity right now to help yourself battle through any of your own challenges you're battling through? So why am I asking these things? Well, with the Warrior Confidence Podcast, the whole concept behind this and my YouTube channel and the speeches and presentations and the programs and the books, it's all about empowering you to do the little extra for yourself to be your very, very best. So not only are you able to be empowered yourself, but you're able to help and empower others who need it. And I'm telling you, society needs it. Society needs you at your very, very best. If for nothing else, just your friends, families, and loved ones. And your own mental health, right? The better you feel about yourself through proper nutrition, exercise, working out, getting enough sleep, planting the right seeds in your mental garden, Man, that's huge. That is absolutely huge. So I'll tell you what, while you're thinking about all that, just a reminder, make sure you subscribe to the podcast and be sure to listen to previous episodes. Also visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel and ring that bell. It's called at Warrior Confidence. Well, the at symbol, Warrior Confidence. The link for everything's in the description box. And, of course, a little shout-out for my books there. The links will be in the description box for them as well. If you haven't picked up a copy, you can pick those up on Amazon or our website. Our website is the 3Ws, warriorconfidence.com. And, especially our new friends, my goal with everything I do is to empower you with courage and what I like to call warrior confidence. And warrior confidence is like that ultimate protective shield, kind of like the armor of God, to strengthen and empower you to step out from the crowd, to be the hero you were born to be, not only for yourself, but most importantly, for those that can't stand up, who can't fight for themselves, those that need someone to help them out so they can become the hero for someone else. So that's the whole goal, and to help you persevere and battle through. Now, I'm transparent on the show, talk about struggles that I've gone through, challenges I've gone through, but also the ways that I've overcome those battles, challenges, struggles, fears, bullies, both the mental and physical bullies. Anything you're facing there, I'm going to share with you, and my goal is to help empower you. So, and when we're done talking, my goal is that, man, you walk away thinking, I'm glad I took the time to listen, because that's something I really needed to hear today. And, of course, if it was beneficial to you and you needed to hear it, I know there's thousands of others out there, and you've got maybe hundreds of friends that could really, really benefit from this. So please kindly share it with them and let them know about it, because ultimately, like I mentioned, our goal is to make society a happier, healthier, and safer place to live for all of us. All sound good? Awesome. Well, let's dive into today's show then. Well, this is episode number 352, and I titled this one, No Man Left Behind, or woman, just no one left behind. Empower yourself, empower others, the warrior's path to mutual success. That's what it's all about, right? Yeah. Oftentimes we hear the word success, and we picture somebody, for whatever reason, our mind automatically goes to financial success. Now, being successfully financially, it's good. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a battle, it's a struggle, but it's better to be in a financial position where you can pay your bills. You're not scraping every single month. And I've been there, been bankrupt twice, had a house foreclosed on, cars repossessed. Yeah, it's not a good place to be at all. And the worst part about that is when you're not in a good place financially, or we'll touch later on mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. If you can't help yourself, man, there's no way to help anyone else. And I know that back when I couldn't pay my own bills, I certainly couldn't give to the charitable organizations that I'm blessed and honored that we're able to give to now. The ones we give to, our church, the Tim Tebow organization, St. Jude's Children's Miracle Network, and then my wife's got a couple others that she started donating to recently. I need to find out who they are so I can give them a shout out. But those are the big ones we give to. But I know that financially we couldn't pay our own bills. We couldn't do much to help anyone else. It's the same thing. If mentally I'm not in the right frame of mind, I'm unable to do these podcasts. I'm unable to do my video blogs. I'm unable to give speeches and presentations. I'm unable to empower the athletes that I'm working with on the hockey teams down here in Florida. Can't do it. Can't give what you don't have. There's an old saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if your cup is empty and someone else is dying of thirst, well, as much as you'd like to help them, you got nothing to give. And that's essentially what this whole podcast, well, the Warrior Confidence podcast is all about, but we're going to definitely hone in on this one here. And what I did was yesterday at church, it was a great message, and that was kind of what prompted this, was No Man Left Behind. And it was talking about, with what little things that we can do to help out others. I mean, the little bitty things. Some of the stuff we talk about all the time at the Martial Arts Academy was, smiling, even when it's tough, because we never know how badly someone else needs to see that smile. And I did a little thing at a conference not too long ago. I was working with a group of teenagers, and I had them on a piece of paper just write, "I am special." And then we worked together for quite a while, working on self-confidence and manners and discipline and respect, and had them work on some physical activities and all kinds of other stuff. But the little sign I had them make, just a piece of paper, And when they walked out, and there was about, 19, 20 of them, and they walked out into the conference room where their parents were at, because they were there for a leadership conference. And they kind of walked out with their signs down. Nobody could see what it said. And then they put it up on their chest. And it was, like I said, just a piece of paper. But they held it up there, and every one of their signs says, I am special. Why did I do that? Well, as a reminder that everyone's wearing that sign that I am special or make me feel special. We need that. And oftentimes, and sometimes macho guys say, oh, that's the corniest thing I've ever heard. That's just ridiculous. That's not warrior. That's not tough. Well, it starts in the mind. You don't feel good about yourself. There's no way you're going to be able to perform at your best level. There's no way you're going to be able to, as we talked about earlier, and that was just kind of the financial side of helping others, but there's no way you're going to be able to mentally, physically, or emotionally help anybody else. We got to make sure we're in check first. So kind of notes from the church lesson yesterday. It was all about, and here's some of my notes. It said, would you be willing to walk an extra mile? Would you be willing to stand alone and stand up and help those who can't help themselves? Would you be willing to do that? Well, I think all of us, for the most part, good-hearted people want to do what they can to help out others. They truly want to, well, when I say success, once again, not just financial success, but be success in the lives of others. And a little side note here, Zig Ziglar would always talk about, a lot of times people are going from struggling to stability. That's a big leap. Get out of that struggle set to stability. Okay, I'm stable now. I'm more stable. I'm able to do a little bit more. And the more stable you are, the more you're able to hopefully move to that next level, which is success. Now, success, yes, financial, but it's also the mental, physical, emotional, but success in how you're helping others. How many people are you helping become successful themselves? And that's moving from that struggle to stability to success. And then the next step is significance. If you've had enough success in your own life and enough success helping enough others, then you move to a level of significance where you have significantly impacted the lives of more people than you ever probably thought possible. And then Zig also talks about the next step, which is kind of the ultimate step, is becoming a legacy. And a legacy lives well beyond you. It's sort of like how many trees have you planted that you'll never sit under, right? Yeah. How many people have you helped that are going to help others in turn that you're never going to know anything about? And that gets right back to no man left behind. Empower yourself, empower others, kind of the warrior's path to mutual success, because we all benefit from that. And you may say, well, how the heck do I benefit by helping others? Well, hopefully you know the answer to that, but if you don't, let me help you out. It's this chemical called oxytocin and serotonin, which are naturally produced chemicals in the body. They flood your body. When you do something good for someone else, selfishly, you do something, those chemicals are released in your body, and you're like, that's the feel-good chemicals. Now, there's other feel-good chemicals. You got endorphins, like the runner's high. And when you exercise, you get that endorphin release, kind of mask the pain, so you keep going. Yes. And then the dopamine hit. And Simon Sinek talks about the four feel-good chemicals that I just listed. Two are self-chemicals, kind of self-fulfilling chemicals, endorphins and dopamine. And the other two are selfless chemicals that you get by helping someone else, by being selfless and helping somebody else who may be struggling. And that's the oxytocin and the serotonin. So those chemicals are produced naturally, but you get that. And of course, it's just like anything else. When you feel good, you want to replicate that, right? You want to, how can this feels great. I want to feel this way again. Now, unfortunately, in today's society, people, they do what they can to kind of mask whatever, the pain or get that false high or hope with chemicals. And boy, oh boy, you're kind of headed down a dangerous path if you try and, substitute your own body's chemicals that are produced naturally with, manufactured chemicals from society. Just throwing that out there. I want to go on a tangent about that. I just want to bring that up, right? So anyway, the whole idea of everything I'm talking about, in order to be that legacy or have significance in the lives of others, we got to make sure that we're the hero in our own life in our own way. And I've been talking a lot about, I kind of drifted off the path a little bit with my exercise and my nutrition and my fitness level. No excuse. I'm not going to waste your time telling you and coming up with excuses, because no excuse is a good excuse. It just happens. I mean, we drift. Like I wrote a darn book with Tom Ziegler called Road Trip, and it's talking about having guardrails in our life. And the guardrails are what meant to keep us, like, well, guardrails on the highway, what do? They keep us from going off and into the embankment or off on the other side, or if it's over a bridge, keep splashing into the water. Matter of fact, Austin, he was heading home last night. I was talking to him on the phone. He spent the week up in Destin, Florida, with his boss and mentor, Howard Partridge. It was a great thing. It's called the Dream Retreat, and surrounded himself with a just amazing group of people and successful entrepreneurs who are, successful, would like to say, in all three areas, mentally, or multiple areas: mental, spiritual, physical, emotional, and financial. And boy, to have a chance that he was in the room with all those fine folks. He's only 23 years old, but man, he was absorbing that stuff, which is great. But anyway, on his way home, we were chatting, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, Dad, this car just weaved in and out and went off the side of the road and smashed dead on into the guardrail." And the highway 75 here in Florida, if you're familiar with it, holy smokes, the speed limit's 70, but that is merely a suggestion. People just absolutely fly. Well, anyway, it was a pretty scary accident. Well, he's kind of glancing back in the rearview mirror, and he says, "Well, I got to get off the phone and call 911. He said, and he looked also, he saw another car pulled over, so they were going to assist the person, which was good. So instead of him trying to pull over, he just called 911. But it was a reminder of why those guardrails are there. Because he said, well, that car was moving. He goes, I was probably doing 75, and that car just passed me like I was standing still. Next thing I know, it's off and ran head first into the guardrail. And he said, if it wouldn't have been for the guardrail, that car would have crossed the median and been in the northbound lane, and who knows what would have happened there. So I don't know what happened with the person, but Austin called 911. He said he looked back in the rearview mirror and saw, one, and then another car had pulled over to assist the person. But 911, it was the right thing for him to do to call them. But my point is, without that guardrail there, man, as bad as that accident was, it could have been far worse for many, many more people. Well, it's the same thing. Without having guardrails in our life, boy, oh boy, we drift off the path, and it seems like the further we drift, and it happens overnight, right? Yeah. It's like, how did I get way over here? How has it been, a week, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year since I exercised, since I worked out, since I went to church, since I read the Bible, since I did something for me, right? And that's planting seeds and kind of in your own garden there, but helping you become your very, very best. So anyway, another little side note, those that are used to the show, I go on these little tangents, but I like to bring these stories up as a reminder that we drift. So back to what I was talking about, I've been blessed because my workout partner, Dave, lives right across the street, and he's got an excellent workout gym. So another shout out for my buddy Dave, who's really helped get me back on the path here. We've been working out daily. I mean, I think we've got, 35 workouts in the past 40-something days, and they've been really, really good. But all I know is feeling much better about myself, sleeping much better. And then, of course, you work out that hard, you're going to start watching your nutrition a little bit better. Baby steps. I like to say that whatever shape and condition you're in right now, that didn't happen overnight. It took a little while to get there. Well, the same thing. It's going to take a little while for me to get back to where I want. And I haven't talked about this a whole lot, and I'm going to post some videos later this week and next week on Facebook and Instagram. So if you're not following us there, it's Warrior Confidence. Check it out there. And then I've got my personal page, Rich Grogan. You can follow on that as well. But anyway, my weight, I jumped up to 199.9 pounds. When I got on that scale, I'm like, what the heck? Now, I know for a lot of men, that's not a lot of weight. For me, I'm 5'7". That's a lot of extra weight that I don't need to be carrying around. So been battling, struggling, but I just like anything else, it doesn't happen overnight. But I weighed in the other day at 188.4. So that's 11 pounds down. I'm happy as heck. I got about another 8 to go. Get to about 180 is the ideal weight for me, and feeling good about it. But I just know the better I feel, the more I'm able to empower myself, the more I'm able to empower others. So anyway, to continue on kind of with the church message or the notes I took, it's all about, what do I talk about here, is you've got to be the hero, the champion in your own life before you can be a hero and a champion in somebody else's life. Now, I promise you, there are others that are counting on you that need you, and they need you at your very best. Maybe your family, your spouse, your kids, a close friend, whoever. You got to be at your best. So I challenge you, what can you do to become your very best? What can you do today? What can you do when you're, well, actually, you've already done a great thing today. You're planting the right seeds in your mental garden by listening to this podcast. You could share it with someone else when you're done here. Yeah, that would help them out. Someone that you know needs to hear this message. And then we'll start off, what are you going to do tomorrow, the next day? And, of course, the biggest excuse, and that's all it really is, I used it. Oh, I don't have time. I just don't have time. Now, I'm not mocking you or making fun of you. I know everybody's busy. But here's the thing, something to think about. Everybody has 24 hours in the day. Everybody has 1,440 minutes in the day. Everybody has 86,400 seconds in a day. It's how you choose to spend that time. Really. Now, I know especially when I first got to Florida here and we first sold our business, I'd never had so much free time. And I got lost in the jungle several times. I'm talking about the physical jungle. I'm talking about the mental jungle of, getting a little too involved with politics, getting a little too involved with what the heck the government's doing. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't know what's going on, but boy, oh boy, I went down some rabbit holes, and that was bad to the point where I wasn't thinking clearly. My posts weren't where they should be. Now, once again, I think we all need to be informed. We need to know what the heck's going on. But we also need to know that there's only so much we can change. And really, in life, the only thing we can change, the only thing we can alter, the only thing we can truly help make a difference is in the lives of ourselves to make ourselves the very best we can be. So not if, but when we need to help someone else, we have the capacity to do so. So the thing about the next kind of thing I wrote down here is, and obviously everything's easier said than done. That's probably another thing I get the most often is, one, I don't have enough time. And back to the time thing for just a sec. Think about the most successful people in the world and think about people that, maybe aren't successful at all. They still got the same amount of hours in the day, but it's what they do with that time, right? Yeah. What you plant in the middle garden, what you do as far as exercise, as far as nutrition, as far as sleeping, what we choose to do with it. But the second biggest thing is that I get, I guess, feedback on is, yeah, man, you make everything sound so doggone easy, but life isn't that easy. Life just ain't like that. It ain't that easy. And I'm never going to lie to you and say it is. It's not. Life's a son of a gun, man. It'll hit you with right hooks of realities and left uppercuts of truth. And as Rocky says, it'll beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. Yeah, me, nobody's going to hit as hard as life. Rocky also says, but it's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Right there. That's a winner's mindset. That's an attitude of excellence. Yeah. That's believing, all right, yeah, I know life's tough. I'm not going to make excuses. Gosh darn, I'm going to battle through. That's kind of the essence of warrior confidence. Believing enough in yourself and your God-given talents and utilizing those God-given talents to stand out in the crowd, to boldly stand out in the crowd, to be who you were born to be the hero in the lives of yourself, your family, your friends, and those that need you most. Sound good? Yeah. Now, once again, it's not easy, but you can do it. You can do it, but you have to be at your best to serve at your best. Without it, there's no way it's going to happen. And a couple of things I thought about there comes a time, I was looking for it, I've just found it here, I knew it was an important thing. There comes a time in life, and I think about this, when all of us are flat on our back. And it happens. And what do we want at that time? Man, we're trying, we're struggling, we're trying to get back up. For whatever reason, as I mentioned, the punches keep coming, the right hooks of reality, left uppercuts of truth. They just keep coming and coming and coming and coming and just beat us down. At that time, we may need a hand, someone to pick us up. And we hope at that time that the friend we call upon has empowered themselves, so now they have the ability to empower us, to pick us back up. Now flip the switch. How many friends in your life are flat on their back? They could use a little bit of help. They could use a hand. Now, as a reminder, and those are new to the show, it's something I always talk about. Absolutely. When you're climbing the ladder of success, you absolutely reach down and try and help someone else up. But 2 big points here. 1, you've got to make sure that you're strong enough mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally to help that person up. Because if you're not strong enough to even help yourself and help them, then they're going to pull you right down. I call it crabs in the bucket. And the crabs in the bucket, if you've heard the story before, and sorry, like if you ever go to the beach and you get a little bucket at night, you're going to get some sand crabs and you throw them in the bucket. Well, you get a whole bucket full of sand crabs. Now, if those little crabs work together, they could crawl out of that bucket, but it would require teamwork. One little crab could get on top of the other one and then another one and build a little crab ladder. And one would get to the top and hang on with one little pincher on top of the bucket, reach his other one down, grab the next little crab, get him out, get him out, get him out. And they could all escape. But generally what happens is when one little crab gets ambitious and says, I'm going to get the heck out of here, help me out, the other crabs say, oh, wait a minute, what do you think you're doing? You ain't going nowhere. Man, oh man, get your butt back down here. That little crab, man, oh, I'm going to get out of here, man. Let's work together on this thing. And climb on top, and the other ones pull him down. Well, that crab is persistent enough. Those other little crabs will rip his pinchers off and kill him. You're like, what the heck? Well, unfortunately, that's a kind of, I don't know, the depiction of what happens in real life when you try and leave the group. Like, whoa, where are you going? What are you doing out there? Oh, you can't leave the group. You got to stay here with us. So if you got some wild idea about being an entrepreneur or buying a business or starting your own business or going to a conference to better yourself or even, unfortunately, sometimes listen to podcasts like this one, sometimes your friends aren't going to like that too much because you're bettering yourself. Now, it's not that they deliberately want you to fail, but oftentimes if your group of influences are the crabs in the bucket, if you step outside, man, that makes them feel bad about themselves. And you say, well, I want to help them. I truly want to help them. And you're talking this whole show about helping others. Yeah, I really am. But I'm also talking, most importantly, about making sure you're in the right frame of mind and have the warrior confidence to help that person. Because if not, they'll pull you down to the bottom of the bucket. And it's hard to get back out of that. So I guess second point of climb that ladder of success, and not only make sure you're strong enough yourself, but keep one hand on the next rung of the ladder of success and then reach down with another hand. Don't ever take both hands off that ladder because you reach down. Then you will get pulled down in the abyss, so to speak. So reach down, yeah, help one up. Reach down, help one up. And then encourage that person to help one up. Now we've got a whole team working together because there's only so much you can do by yourself. Now, you can do quite a bit by yourself to get the thing going. But a team works a heck of a lot better than individuals. I can only speak at so many different events. I've got so much time in the day. I also like to spend time with my family, too, and do the video blogs and the other stuff I'm working on. So that's why this podcast is so powerful, because I know I reach thousands, and hopefully at some point in time here, we'll be reaching millions of people and empowering them. And then, of course, you share this, you're going to help reach even more. But back to my point, we've all been flat on our back. We've all had friends flat on their back. Do what you can to help them. But it all starts with we've got to make sure that we are strong ourselves. We got to make sure that we are empowered. We have the tools. We have the mental capacity. We have the energy to help others. Because why? We can't pour from an empty cup. Zig Ziglar once, here's another thing I wrote in my notes from yesterday. Zig Ziglar said, if you go out looking for friends, oftentimes they're hard to find. But when you go out to be a friend, we'll find them everywhere. Think about that for a second. Let me say that again. If you go out looking for friends, oftentimes they're hard to find. But when you go out to be a friend, you find them everywhere. Now, are there some people out there that, may not be the best choice of friends? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And be aware of that. But I tell you, the better you feel about yourself, the better you're going to be able to recognize these things. And it doesn't mean we don't get blindsided from time to time. It happens. I've trusted in the wrong people from time to time. And yeah, I had to pay a price. And yeah, that was a reminder, experience, wisdom. But don't let that jade you to the point where thinking, that's it, everybody's freaking bad. You know what? It's best that I don't help anybody ever again. Be selective. Help those you can help. But of course, it all starts, the stronger you are mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, the better you feel about yourself. You kind of see a pattern here, folks, where I keep going back to the same thing. You've got to be strong yourself. Heroes, the reason they're heroes is kind of the hero journey. It's kind of how my book is written, and almost any movie you watch has a hero's journey in it. The hero himself or herself has a struggle. They overcome that struggle. In the past, they may talk about it in the movie, they may not, but then they help someone else who's going through a similar struggle or challenge and help them develop and believe the confidence in themselves to become their own hero. That's the hero's journey. Yeah, but there's always conflict. There's always struggles. There's always battles, and then you find balance, and then you succeed. Now, I'd love to say it's as easy as what I just said. The old adage, you've ever seen the iceberg, and it's kind of stuff, for entrepreneurs, you see it all the time, and all people see is the top of the iceberg that breaches out of the water. That's what people see. Oh, it was so successful. Well, they never see underneath the water the foundation of that iceberg, of all the struggles, the late nights, the failures, the tears, the pain, the financial struggles, the hardships on your relationship. Yeah, and nobody ever sees that stuff. They just see when that iceberg finally breaks the crest of the water. Oh, success. You're an overnight success. I mean, how many times have been, man, oh man, you're just an overnight success. I said, yeah, exactly right. It just took me almost 30 years to become an overnight success. And success, I like to think, I've succeeded in a lot of areas in my life, but I've also failed at many, many, many more that nobody, I could talk about it every single day for the rest of my life. And I try and, bits and pieces, and I'm not asking for sympathy in any way, shape, or form. It's a hero's journey. It's things that we've all gone through, the struggles, the pains, the hardships. But I try and share, bits and pieces of that to let you know, hey, I've been there. I may not be fighting your exact battles, your struggles, but I've had mine, and here's what I've done to battle through, overcome, succeed. Hopefully it helps. That's the reason I do this. That's why the reason I spend the time doing the podcast. I'm hopeful that I've got something to share, some wisdom, some knowledge that will help you, because it's, not a matter of if, but when life knocks you down, not a matter of if, but when that next battle, struggle, challenge comes. And I'm not being pessimistic. I'm an extremely optimistic guy, but I'm also, reality. Got to be ready for those fights when they come, or, ready to help our friend who might be at their end. They see them struggling with whatever it may be. It's hard. It's hard to step in. It's hard to say something. But if you feel better about yourself and knowing that, man, this person really needs it, or I've been there before, I know what it feels. I've been flat on my back. I know how tough that is. Good. And here's another one from yesterday's notes. It's, the first two commandments from Moses, love God above all else. And then the second one, love thy neighbor as yourself. Woo! Think about that. And that's another one I sometimes get some negative feedback on. It's like, well, my neighbor's a complete jerk. You don't know my neighbor. He's terrible. He's selfish. And I'm not saying you may have a terrible neighbor. I'm not justifying any rude, mean, disrespectful behavior whatsoever. There are a lot of people out there. But just try and remember this. Hurt people hurt others, right? Healthy people help others. Hurt people hurt others. So that person's being a jerk, it doesn't condone it. It doesn't, it's wrong. But just think, man, they got to live with themselves. Just be blessed that, they're just a neighbor. You only see them every once in a while. Yeah. So am I saying forgive them? Well, if you hold a grudge, it's sort of like, I heard an old adage, holding a grudge is sort of like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies from it. You're the one suffering. You're the one in pain. So just be friendly, be kind. Be cordial. If anything, maybe pray for that person, or just pray and be grateful you're not like that person, whatever it helps with you. But back to the point, if you think about, and it's the old golden rule, right? Do unto others as you'd like them to do unto you. Well, maybe take it a step, not as they do unto you, but as you would like them to do unto you. So maybe, think, well, all I know is by me being nice, by me trying to extend a little extra courtesy here, maybe they take it, maybe they don't. An example I always like to give is you think about in traffic, when you let somebody out. Let somebody out in traffic, what are we all waiting for? That wave, right? Just to say, hey, man, thanks. Thank you very much. It doesn't take any extra time, any extra energy. That person can lift their hand up and wave and acknowledge and be respectful, right? Absolutely. Well, what happens when you don't get the wave? Well, I'll tell you, a lot of times let people out, don't get the wave. You're like, you son of a freaking, gosh dang it. That's the last time I let anybody out, you gosh darn jerk. Who the heck you think you are not waving to me? When's the last time you did that? Yeah, well, it's human nature, right? But here's my right hook reality question for you. Now, I got to say this because I need a reminder myself. That's why I talk about these things, because oftentimes I'm the one that needs a reminder. I just feel there's millions out there that also need that reminder. But here, think about this. When you let that person out, why were you letting them out? Were you letting them out because it's the right thing to do? Or were you letting them out because you needed that wave? There's a right hook. Now, once again, I think it's rude and disrespectful when you let them out, they don't wave. And I had the thought, it triggers in my mind, you jerk. That's it. But I got to remind myself, you know what? I have no idea what battle that person's fighting. Who knows what they're going through right now? And why did I do it? I did it because it was the right thing to do, and I would hope that someone else would do it for me, not necessarily for the wave. I do, however. Somebody lets me out, I probably go overboard with the waves and the thank you. I roll the darn window down, give them a thumbs up, and wave 3 or 4 times. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Why? Because hopefully that person that did it, one, they did it to be kind, but 2, I want to show respect to them for their kindness in order for them to hopefully do it again for someone else. Not get the person that doesn't wave and that person say, forget it, I ain't ever helping anybody else. Well, that's, kind of no man left behind. You're going to empower yourself to empower others. And we've all been there. We've not gotten that wave, and therefore we're not letting anybody else out again. Well, my point, let's, 2 commandments. Love God above all else and love thy neighbor like yourself. We don't know what they're battling. We don't know what they're fighting. We don't know what they're going through. And once again, I'll never condone rude, mean, disrespectful behavior. But I am just saying, do your best so you're feeling better. And when you're feeling better, you're going to be able to take more of those shots, more of those, I call them shots, from society. I mentioned before about the warrior confidence, kind of the protective shield, that armor of God. When you go out into society, man, society is going to sling a lot of arrows at you. You think about this, you would never go outside with no clothes on. You just wouldn't do it, right? It's not socially acceptable, and you just wouldn't do it. Well, I encourage you not to go outside in the real world without your warrior confidence bully-proof armor on. And what that is, it's like that protective shield, because society is going to throw arrows at you, man. Yeah, you've got that confidence shield, that warrior confidence shield on, that armor of God on. It's going to repel those arrows. They're just going to bounce off. And the places that society attacks most, the bullies in society, the mental bullies, are your mind and your heart, your 2 most vulnerable areas. Kind of talked about a lot today, didn't we? Yeah. But it gets back to the whole point. No man left behind. We all have a gift. We're all meant to serve. We all know the good feeling it provides and gives us, that great hit of oxytocin and serotonin when we help out others. But we've got to be empowered ourselves. We've got to take care of ourselves in order, for that warrior's path to mutual success. That all starts with us. And sometimes people will say, well, man, you talk about helping out others, but you talk an awful lot about, almost sounds selfish helping yourself. Well, hopefully, after you've listened to everything today and some of the other shows, you realize if you're not at your best, you can't help at your best. And if you're not at your best, then you're vulnerable to be taken advantage of. You're vulnerable for others to manipulate you. You're vulnerable for others to pull you down in their misery. I'm saying help them. I'm not saying get in the misery with them, right? Yeah. I mean, if you're strong enough, you're able to do it, but you can only do it for so long. There's an old saying, surround yourself with those that you admire, those that you want to be, those that help lift you up, to help sharpen your sword. So when you go into battle with those that need you, your sword is plenty sharp. Your mind is plenty strong. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you're there. Financially, you're there. But we got to make sure we're there first before we can help out anybody else. Good. That's a lot to cover, isn't it? Well, I'm hopeful that helped you. I mean, I had read a lot from what I wrote down yesterday at our Bible lesson there, or at church. I guess it was a Bible lesson. But it all revolves around everything I'm always talking about with having the power and the gifts, the belief in yourself to help out others. But it all starts with what you've done here today. You've listened to this podcast. So my goal is that I've planted some mental seeds, some strong seeds in your mental garden to help you grow, to help you become your very, very best. Good? So are you in the right mindset and have the physical and mental capacity to help yourself battle through your own challenges? Maybe you're kind of like, well, yes, no. Well, I encourage you to work on it. Maybe listen to this episode again or jump on over to our YouTube channel and watch some of our empowerment videos over there to help empower you. What you plant in the middle garden, baby, is what grows. What you sow is what you reap. Positive, negative, indifferent, whatever it is. Sow the right seeds. And then once you're at the right mindset, man, help out those that need it most. And that could be just as simple. When you're done listening to this, text a friend. Hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're doing fine. Hey, I just wanted to say I appreciate you. Hey, just wanted to say that I'm grateful you're in my life. Hey, just wanted to say thank you for the time you spent. Hey, if you've got time, let's grab some lunch. Just reach out. Just reach out. You never know what others are struggling or battles they're fighting, what they're going through, what struggles they have right now. You never know how great that may lift them up. I might say, man, I've been thinking about you, but I'm glad you reached out. Well, you know how good it makes you feel when somebody does that for you. Well, be the hero. No man left behind. Reach out to someone that you know could benefit from just hearing from you. Can you do it? Absolutely. Are you going to do it? Well, that's entirely up to you. I'm hopeful you are. Good. Well, let me give before we get off here, a shout out here to, I've been giving Fitbot exercise and fitness app. It's been incredible. Dave and I have been working with that, and oh my gosh, we've got 2 or 3 other people in the neighborhood on it, the Fitbot exercise app, and it's kick butt. I can't say enough good things about it. And, I'm going to reach out to them, and hopefully maybe we can have them on the show at some point in time. I'm going to start having guests on. I'm going to shoot for, might be able to do it in August, but it's probably closer to September because I'm going to get the guest list together so it's consistent. And we'll have guests on. The goal is to have 3 podcasts a week at that point, one on Monday, one on Wednesday, and one on Friday. And they'll be different shows, kind of the Monday motivation, the Wednesday wisdom, and then the feel good Friday. The other shout I want to give to is my wife's business, Beachside Blend. They're going to start September 1st is the tentative date when they're going to sell, luscious, yummy coffees and lotus drinks, and she's got her essential oils and suntan lotion and all that other good stuff, some hair products, and all that will be sold there. It's called Beachside Blend. I'll give you more updates as we move forward there. Of course, Goshen Martial Arts, it's our former martial arts academy, Grogan's Academy of Martial Arts in Edwardsville, Illinois. Make sure you, if you're in the Edwardsville area, check them out. And even if you're not, I mentioned on the last podcast that we've got a frequently asked questions section on our website there. If you're not in the area, just to kind of give you a heads up, if you go to check out a martial arts academy, what to look for. And, because you never know, there's a lot of good ones. And then unfortunately, there's a lot of not so good ones out there as well. So we got a little frequently asked questions on there as well. You can check that out. And something that's probably too early for me to talk about this, but I'm trying out a new product, some healthy greens for better living. And because I just want to, continue. I'm 53 now, not that that's old in any way, shape, or form, but I want to make sure that I'm doing the very best I can with my nutrition and my health and my gut health and recovery from workouts and sleep cycles and everything else. So I'm trying out some new healthy greens for better living. I'll keep you posted on that, and I'm going to dive into this company and see what they're all about. And if I think they're worthy of a recommendation, I'll give them a shout out, and we'll take that next step. And then possibly, if it's good enough, maybe I can talk to you about being a business partner if that's something you're interested in. But like I said, a little premature. I just heard about it yesterday, as a matter of fact, but it comes from a very reputable source, and I'm going to give it a shot, and I'll keep you posted on that. Good. All right, folks. Well, as a reminder, I love you. God loves you. God wants you to be your very, very, very best. He wants you to live your best kicking life. And kicking life is all about, instead of life kicking your butt, you're kicking life's butt. But it all starts with that confidence, that belief in yourself to be your very, very best. You've got a talent. You've got a unique gift. It's entirely up to you if you use that gift. We can make excuses or find solutions. Life's better with those solutions than excuses, right? Yeah, because excuses, once you start one, they just build, and you got another one and another one, an excuse for an excuse for an excuse for an excuse. Let's stop the excuse cycle. Let's do what we can. Let's make sure we empower ourselves so we can empower others, so we can have the warrior's path to mutual success, so no friend, no man, no woman, no one gets left behind that we could be helping. Good? All right. Well, as a reminder, if you like this show, this podcast, please, those 5-star reviews are incredible. They help boost us higher in the search engines. Please kindly write a review. And then check out our books. They're on Amazon. The links are in the description box. 2 books are Becoming Bully Proof and I Believe in Me, A through Z Positive Affirmations. And, of course, we love the 5-star reviews on the books as well. That, once again, helps boost us higher in the search results and search engines. And, of course, the more people find out about it, the more people are reading the books, listening to the podcast, and, of course, watching the YouTube videos. Subscribe, like, ring that bell, all that good stuff there, too. And the whole goal, man, we're making society a happier, healthier, and safer place to live. Good. All right, folks, I love you. God loves you. Please share that love with the world. And until we talk again, you get out there and do your best, and I promise you'll be your very best. God bless you. God bless your loved ones. I can't wait to chat with you again real soon. Have a blessed day, everybody. Thanks again for listening. Bye-bye. Thank you so very much for listening today. I am truly grateful. My goal is to empower millions of people with hope, faith, and confidence to believe in themselves in order to make our society a happier, healthier, and safer place to live. But I can't do it alone, so if you found value in this message, please share it with someone else who could benefit from it, and by subscribing and leaving a 5-star review. Be sure to pick up copies of my books for yourself and someone you care about at www.warriorconfidence.com. Also, remember to stay empowered throughout the week by subscribing to our YouTube channel and our Facebook and Instagram pages at Warrior Confidence. Thank you again, and have a blessed day.